So we've been working with the Samadhi part of the Noble Eightfold Path, the Samadhi group. And that consists of wise effort, wise mindfulness, and wise concentration, or not so crazy about that term, really wise absorption. The Pali term is samadhi, so I'll just use that. I'll do my best to remember to use that term whenever I'm wanting to bring forth or call forth this quality of a gathered and collected heart mind. So, we're going to be looking at wise effort as part of the Samadhi group, looking at wise effort. And to me, there's a stanza from the Anguttara Nikaya that really kind of sums up wise effort for me. It says, "The wise person avoids what's harmful and takes up what's beneficial. And by arriving at what is beneficial, the steadfast one is said to be wise." And just read that again. "The wise person avoids what is harmful and takes up what is beneficial. By arriving at what is beneficial, the steadfast one is said to be wise." So this wise effort, in the language of this stanza, we're avoiding what's harmful, unwholesome, unskillful. Actually, it's not that we're avoiding it, we're just not cultivating it. We're not putting our energy in that direction. If we are putting our energy in that direction, it's to actually understand it in order to diminish it. So we're just not cultivating the unwholesome, the unskillful, the harmful. And then we're taking up what's beneficial, what's skillful, what's wholesome. And you can think of the practice of wise effort. I love this part of the path because for me, this is the art of, actually, it's all in art form. But what is it with this one? It's where the rubber meets the road. It's where you're having a direct experience of what actually leads towards suffering and what leads away from suffering. So this wise effort is really fueled by a curiosity, like a wholehearted interest in, okay, what leads to awakening and what leads away from awakening? And it's not an intellectual exercise. We're actually discovering for ourselves, like seeing, okay, what are the conditions in my own heart and mind that actually lead to the arising of the awakening factors, the arising of the Brahma Viharas or the 10 paramis. And then what are those things that in my own heart and mind that actually diminish the unwholesome? So wise effort consists of 4 practices, and you can divide these 4 practices into 2 sets of 2. So the first set of 2 consists of preventing the arising of unarisen, unwholesome states. I know that's a mouthful and your mind has to do a little gymnastics, but all it's saying is that any unwholesome mind states that haven't actually arisen, we're just wanting to practice in such a way that they don't arise. And mindfulness is a wonderful practice for this. It actually makes it less likely for the unwholesome to arise. Mindfulness and what's called sense restraint. Sense restraint is such an unfortunate term. We won't go into that, but that's a support for making sure that any unwholesome mind states that haven't arisen don't actually crop up in the mind. So that's one aspect of wise effort. So we've got 2 sets of 2. First set of around unwholesome mind states. Just any unwholesome mind states that haven't arisen, making sure that they don't arise, supported by mindfulness and sense restraint. And I hope we have a chance to talk about that another time. And then the second one that's a part of this first set is when the unwholesome has arisen, we're just abandoning it. So to abandon the arisen unwholesome states. First set, right? Preventing the arising of unarisen, unwholesome heart mind states, and then abandoning those arisen unwholesome mind states. Then the second set is around the wholesome, the skillful. And we're wanting to arouse these. So we arouse unarisen, wholesome states. And we've all been doing this. We're just bringing mindfulness to our daily lives, resting with the mindfulness of the breath. Some of you may have a Brahma Vihara practice, or you might be just playing with like, what results in like the arising of the paramis in my daily life: generosity, an ethically attuned heart, renunciation, honesty, perseverance, adhitthana. So these are ways that we play with kind of courting, arousing the wholesome. And then the last step, the fourth step, or the fourth practice within wise effort, part of the wholesome group, is maintaining the wholesome mind states when they arise. And we maintain them through giving them our attention, being mindful of them, appreciating them, really getting to know like, oh, okay, this is what a heart mind feels like. This is what it tastes like when mindfulness is present, when concentration is present, or samadhi is present, or tranquility, or piti, rapture in the heart mind, in the body, really appreciating it. It sounds like the sound isn't all that good, so I'm gonna, excuse me, come a little closer. All right. So specifically, with wise effort, the unwholesome, unskillful mind states that we're actually, in the suttas talk about starving them. The unwholesome states that we're really wanting to starve, to not cultivate, are the hindrances, the 5 hindrances. So ill will, sensual desire, pursuit. Now it's nothing wrong with sensual. There's nothing wrong with pleasant sensory experience, but it's our relationship to them. It's our craving. It's the pursuit of it. So these hindrances, again, ill will, sensual pleasure, or the pursuit of sensual pleasure, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry and doubt. So those are the 5 states of mind that we're wanting to starve, that we're not wanting to cultivate, because it's thought that they impede our capacity to gather and collect the energies of the heart mind. They impede a samadhi, absorption, which is a support for helping us to see how things actually are. A really important quality of the heart mind that helps us to deepen our practice. And then with the wholesome, we're wanting to work with and cultivate, arouse, and maintain the awakening factors. And their name lets us know what they're doing. So these 7 qualities of the heart and mind, we arouse them, they come into their maturity, we balance them, and they support us in making the breakthrough to nibbana, to other stages of awakening. And these 7 are mindfulness, investigation of dhammas, energy, joy, tranquility, an absorbed heart and mind, samadhi, and then equipoise or equanimity. So just something to keep in mind about the hindrances. It feels like to me, and the spirit of our times, just on a national level, the hindrances are up, right? Ill will's in the air, restlessness and worry, doubt, perhaps sloth and torpor, a sense of just a lack of energy to actually engage with what's happening through compassionate action. Maybe the energy's not there for that. And then wanting to escape through just pursuing as much sense pleasure as possible. And when that's in the zeitgeist, our own hindrances can arise, start to resonate with them. When they arise in our own heart and mind, we don't need to see them as the enemy. We don't need to be in contention with them. When we learn to actually train with them and work with them in an intelligent way, they become gateways to liberation. They become gateways to the development of the 7 factors of awakening. So we're just mindful of, say, restlessness and worry, right? Just mindful. And then we start to investigate, like, how did this restlessness and worry arise in the heart mind? That's investigation of dhammas, the second of the awakening factors. And by staying with that practice of investigation, supported by mindfulness, energy starts to arise. This is the third factor of the awakening factors. And when there's energy, and it's this cascading natural impact, there's energy, and out of that energy comes joy. And a system that has joy in it, there's tranquility, that peace, lack of agitation. Out of that tranquility comes a heart mind that just wants to naturally gather, settle, know what it's knowing. And then there can be an equipoise in the heart mind. So just by virtue of not being in contention with the hindrances when they arise in our mind, and really getting curious about, okay, how did this come to be? They become a gateway for developing the awakening factors. That's an overview of wise effort. Really learning, like, what leads to awakening and what leads away from suffering. This is the laboratory. And the support for that is these 4 practices of wise effort. Okay. Thank you for your very kind attention.